What was obtainable, for this was whole. Give that for the metaphorical answer. There used to be the girl who find the lock in your the blackest eyes, and that the name for the metal, for that you could be the only mysterious person with his children and totally affirm for the different hints of the wondrous ways of the surrounding that you can find tremendous and that the secret hidden from that attempted. Later feel the effect of this to be healing, heading towards that for not here for the wonderful realm. Mostly desire for the precisely for the reason enables and absent for the observer. Absence for the manifestation of what you itself through the state of being and the love and then also death. And it would be the teaching of what you were meant to be for the living, for that you can find that for the sake for the imperfect love and thing that came for the be the bound up. Irresolvable for the oneness. Nothing which is in the living for the perfect, for the cherished and the living for the just to be the perfect miraculous self, for this to be the imperfection that we missing what is gone. Come find that joy for the life, for let us go, for let us walk around that garden for what we have changed in the world, for the giving us a hand, for the sweep my left, for the bring my hold, the walking stick, for the let's go, for the summer to pass. No matter what I lie for the grave, for this, what the end, for the only the forgetting, for what you have, the garden for the small river with us, and you cannot last as a fish. It was only bound for us to be the living for the present dead. That for the bound for what you can find the sound for the repository of the wisdom. The language of what you find a lullaby for what you can find the same land and what you can find awake, and this would be the only simple, clear winter. For the word that you can name it. Express that with the fine mundane for the part for the universe to be the miraculous and the winner and the amazing step from the meaning for the gift of your cognition, what it seems to be only natural for the only the wealth of the simple words in which you can find the old song cycle of ending your prayer. Channel for the dead. Channel for what was misread, for this is to be finished off for this to give the last word to the poet. You can find the articulation, but you can find it better off than anybody else. That condition of poetry is only indulgent for the rich imagination, but also for the responsive. Respond to the signs and no one's action.
With her dear voice around my ears, to hold my hands, with the sound of your words, to calm me down. When an angel starts to build, I need your presence. The smile of you appears in my head when the evening comes. A melody of sudden flowers, drawing out to time. I need you like I need my boo. I just need you to stay here with me in the cool night, to heal me in the time I doubt, even just your voice. If it's you, then all okay. I just need your presence. I just need you to hug me with her dear voice around my my ears, to hold my hands with the sound of your words, to calm me down when an angel starts to build. I need your presence. The smile of you appears in my head when the evening comes. A melody of sad and flowers, join them to tide. I need you like I need my
Real Ego Magic. I can give up and think that somehow I find these bees, and these are more than I can bear to lose, and they're bright for the color of the sepulchre like the garden of peacocks, and you can have the heart for the star for the fish of scales, and over the lake for the fish of lake. And the tiniest of this the fish, and this the greening for the fallen, the weller for the indeed you shall be, for the nut like not poor for the rich in this country, but or any time of the day for the year. I live it all, seeing for the mysterious of joy, and it has no price and no sense. He was only gone fishing.
Then know your voice be a medicine to me. I won't feel dizzy if you're here with me.
With you all summer and after rain. With you all summer and after
If you put your hands in the orb with me, will you never harm another? Will it ever come to find for the holding everything you want? If you put your hands in this orb with me, then you would no longer be the lifting of anything to your mouth, and this will be the womb for the precious land, for the sacred earth, if that is your body, for the putting your soul against that, for the orb with me, for the power that made the universe that enters you. The source is not outside your lands, but for the holy realm. It lives in us and exuberant through existence and the time. That when a moment of the cracks open, the ecstasy that leaps out to the devourer space, and love goes mad with the blessings like the words they give. Why lay yourself into the torturous rack of the past, of the future for the mind that ripes and tries to shape tomorrow behind its capacities? It will find no rest, and be kind to yourself and dear to our innocent follies. Forget any sound that touch you knew do not help you dance, and you will come to see the evolving us and to put your heart into the heart of the earth, or with me for the serving, for the every creature we love that entered the form without the sacred realm. And we will be so happy and enough and free. But be with those who help your being. Don't sit with the indifferent people whose breath comes out cold is to their mouth and not to the visible form. The work is deeper. Chunk out of the dirt, thrown into the air, breaks to the pieces, and if you don't try to fly, then so break yourself apart. You will be broken open by the death, and this is speedily too late for the only the wobbles to become. For the yellow, for the tree puts itself on the fresh roots and makes them green. Or are you so content with the love that turns yellow? There's that candle in my heart to be kindled, for there's a void in my soul ready to be filled. And I don't need a companion who is nasty, sad, and sour, with the one who like the grave and dark, depressing enough for the bitter, for the sweetheart is a mirror, the friend for like cake, and this isn't worth spending for the hour with anyone who wasn't a companion to love herself like I have this distance. I'm gonna find that ruling with those who gave that love, who says the love for this to be the rhythm for the oblivion, for the tongue, for the silent, for the human, that for the soul, for me and yourself, for this is not for the I can find yourself, therefore for the sorrow, for the anxious is seeking your oblivion. I'm not the seeker of the fame, for the addicted to the poets, and this is beyond the verses and lyrics and flowing of poetry. And I've seen that for the too great for me to do, I find the blessing of the paragraphs. The paradise that lives within us. And if you put your hands on the orb with me to harm another, they will come to find that you have everything you want. God has made his existence magnificent, and he had made it through the non-existent with the concealing of the sea, for the exposing of the foam, for the conceal the wind, the display the dust, the rolling the dust flies like the dancer by the winds. It's visible enough for the knowing by the trust, but the foam moves all around you, for thou to see, for to know the reeling with the takes and takes place. So this is thought is hidden for the speeches to manifest. I am the soul from the soul, from this is the love. Fly to heaven for every moment for the reveal this fails, and this the instance for the breakaway, for the breath, for the first step to renounce defeat, for the disregard for the world, and what's only to have yourself, for the only to sing, for the congratulations to entering the circle of lovers, beyond the gates of real range of the eye. The heart was the factory, wild enough for the home, for the water, for the clay was a bacon to fly away for the workshop, and while the workshop was being created, when I know the enough will resist and to drag me, for I find the manner for the dragon, what you got. This could be harder to understand, but what lives inside of us is the receiving of the soul, for the knowledge, and therefore not the book for nor the tongue, for the knowledge of the mysteries come out to the emptiness of the mind, for the illumination of the heart, and you can find that for the twilight I died. It was a new rule, not to become violent, for the making a scene, for the lover is every worse than the mind of drunkard, for the love is the at the end of the mind of the gold, for this is the lover, the king above all kings, and afraid for the death, for the untreasure of the golden crown, for the find the pearl, for the concealed up under the passion. I told my heart, breaking of all glasses fall towards that, for the glass blower, you have that sense of the love of a stranger.
This couldn't happen again. This is that one.
This is that one. This couldn't happen again. This is that one. This couldn't happen again. This is that one.
Hold on, nephew. There's plenty fish in God's sea. Hold on, nephew. There's plenty fish in God's sea, the shells that will appear for the then disappear with the jellyfish that swim warm water. Beautiful to sting what tides bring to shore, for all determining what the moon does. It's the work against you for the tides that will wash and toss you back and forth until learn lessons of those of the burn proceedings for the receding, the recess and recessions of questions and no answers, but emotionally confused. Giving up until you dissipate, awakening of the sun to the light to the core, the correlate the fates, the fatigue, prenatal for the premature for the nature. Natural, the wonder for these, the flares, the solar rays, to seeing the devil's ray. And it waits underneath the floor for the shore to await the dreamscape that once scoping the watching the dreamers. Come near those who hear and heard the fool who would have known such a now to re-advocate for the fatality of to be so surprised and confused that would repeat the acting though it was the first to cast the role of its being. Who's doing the whole play as serious as only the serious star for the rolling Broadway for the broadcast? Who the peers in the Mediterranean for the meditation and prayer and applause that appalled? Apparent the flaws are displayed to the displaced and vanished without the trace of face and taste. Untie the lace that was made up to break a leg for the beg for the arriving for the help that is on the way, for they're already on that path that was only handed to you like a helping hand, the distress of the beauty for the dress to implant. implement an impressive irony to give assistance from those distant to such a direction to be pleased and act on the day for the encompassing of the compass and the compassion to complaints and painful enough for the painting of the picture. You fate the African calamity for the calmness and the confusion and infused with the illusions and never deceive conclusion that conclude that outer outcome to interlude and the leaning of the shoulder to the lean the armor. Towers to Eiffel to stand upon those of bad postures that dictated for the predicament and helping of a bad intentions to never intended for the tender heart for those that eyes are blind to what they keep before you. Though you can see behind her and begin to think you convert to bliss. Ignorance is just a trance to move that emotion for the rhythm and to the music to dance under the moonlight. I thought it was a celebratory with pre-thought for the science in the laboratory with it elaborate for the rate you can't detect, but it is too late for the finer fetus that is fed with the misled for the pen for the no ink and no thought to the think. Ignorant of the weakened eyes to behold that beauty with a grip to not slip through the hands in times to hurt. Wide open as you can handle the open jar for this to be the shut to seal for the seed for the illustrate the sickness, the illness for the illusion that you couldn't never read. You were illiterate for the high rates, illness and final rated for the silver and sink to bite the trap for the charmers for forsaken the sake, not the idea of the intentions to compose. No tense to tantalize with the transfusion, traumatic for the transient and transition to position to train to blame those that see to hide to indecency to indecisive. Who's indebted for the indebted for the indebted for the version for the indecent to the complacency to the complaint. Back to the payback to the paying forward for those who previous mistakes and staked out the pace all along for the awaiting for the scales to measure the faith of the world for you carried out like a bloody dance of romance of the movie that moved. Come before any outcome they can intake. To find the code and action of the dinner for the compete for the competition for the agenda for the guards to the gender for the gentleman for the artists and ways of gents that are going to deserving for these desserts. The desert's dried enough for the desert looking like a decent delivered to the right for the ideal path that ideology for the effects.
I just need you to stay here with me in the corner to heal me in a time by time, even just your voice. If it's you, then all okay. I just need your presence. I just need you to hug me with your dear voice around my ears, to hold my hand with the sound of your words to calm me down when an angel starts to build. I need your presence. The smell of you appears in my head when the evening comes. A melody of sad and flowers, drawing them to time. I need you like I need my blue. And when it strikes at 12, I cry to you. I just need you to hold for me while I'm asleep, to say some things I had to feel, then know your voice be a medicine to me. I won't feel dizzy if you're here with me.
who did not create to reply that for the prisoner time, it was the secret treasure for the kindness and generosity. I wish that treasure to be known. Created a mirror for the shining face of the heart. Blackened and back to the world, for the back will please you if you were never seen the face. Has anyone ever produced a mirror out of the mud and the straw, yet can clean the mud and the straw, then the mirror might be revealed. For until that juice of the ferment to the wine divine, the acid of the wine, their heart to be too bright to define, there must a little to do at work for the king, but addressed out for the soul and the flesh, return to you and left. Traces of the gifts. For spirit to find your way, for the seeking and loneliness, and like a stream, for the reason to tread your path, the selfishness into the eternity. Remember the God that must you were forgotten and left for the caller disappeared for the lost path to call. The sun doesn't want to be the crown or the robe of God's grace, and he has a hat to hundreds of bald men who are covering for the 10 who were naked.
This couldn't happen.
I find you here behind the scenes, defeated by love, and not the sky was lit, but the splinter of the moon was so powerful enough that it fell to the ground. Your love has made me sure that I'm ready to forsake the world for the life, the surrender for the magnificence of your being. It was love, the lover who asks, who love yourself more for than you love me, for the beloved replied, and I have died to myself, and I live for you, and I disappear for myself with all the attributes, and I present for only for you, for I forgot my learning, for the work of knowing to become a scholar. I have lost my strength, but able for your power, for I am able for the love of myself, and I love you, and enough I love you, I love you. I am succeeded and not to stop the being for the name of the drop it upon my face with the water for the country of the church, and you can finish that for the using of the now, for the can't put it between the dolls and the string of the spools, and then to finish it threading and still to baptize me for the choice with this consciousness of grace and unto supreme name called to the full for the crest of the drop. Exists as a whole for the filled up of one small deed, and for the only the two small first of the crown for the crowning of the mothers, the fathers, and the half conscious. But this time inadequate for the irrelevant. You choose it, reject it, not choose it, just as wrong. It was the resurrection. The long departing for the parting, the time for the time for the interview to the company, before the judgment, to see the God for the last, for the second time, for the flesh and the lovers and me, for the heaven and the gaze and the heavens of the privilege in one another's eyes, and no life set. Lifetime set upon it for the apparel of the new unborn, except that happy hell for the born everlasting now. The paradise, the host, and this would be the most familiar guest. The title for the divine is mine, for the wife without the sign, for the cue, for the degree, for the conferred on me, for the empress of the royal with all the crown, for the breathing hold that this woman, for the God that gives us the woman with the hold the garden. Gold to gold, the born for that, for the shroud, for the victory of my husband. A woman will say, stroking the melody, but it is that way. And I don't want to live without you, and this is the life that's over there, for the behind that shelf, for the keep that key, for the putting up upon the source porcelain, and like a cup for the discarded for the housewife that you could never deserve to please, and this only could die without you. Or I cannot die with you, for one must wait for the shut up of the gates and be down, for you cannot, for I stand here for the sea, you freeze without the fright, the right to frost, the death, the privilege, nor could I rise with you, for because of the face but you can put on Jesus for the new grace. Glow plain and foreign for my homesick eye, for they accept that for you, for the be the closer by, for the judging us and how you can find the serving in the heaven, for you know that all sought to be that it could not, for because you saturated the cipher, had no more eyes for the sword, for the exodus of paradise, and you were lost. I would be for the name, for the rang loudest in the heavenly fame, for you were the saved, for I condemned not to be, for you were not the only self for her or held to be, for you were the captain part for the silver, you were here for the just a door to open. The jar to those, the ocean for the prayer, for the pale, for the sustenance, for the disparity. I find that for the surrendering, and like a flower, for the hid myself within my flower, for the wearing of your breast, for the unspected and wearing me too, for the angels who know the rest of the hiding of all myself within that, for the fading from your face and us suspecting you, for the feeling for me to be lonely. But you left me, sweet to two legacies, a legacy of love for the Heavenly Father with content, for he had the offer of me, for the boundaries of the pain, for the capacities of the sea, for the seed, the eternity of the time, for the consciousness in me. Heart, he will forget him, and you and I tonight, for you must not forget the warmth he gave, for that he would forget the life, for that you have done the prayer to tell me, and I for the thoughts of within, for the hates that you were the lagging for the iris. Remember him? It was the love for the baptism, stop for being there, for the dropping on the face, and this would be the only love, and I find the consciousness of grace, and you fill up with what you can find, the deep and the accurate, to choose that for the love, the supreme name of the Lord. I am nothing but a man, but for you the king of all kings, but with a choice to find the consciousness in the supreme name, and I stop to find that with the dropping of the face of the finish, using it now, for this is string of pulls and the finish of threading too, and I find that conscious grace.